Really juicy. Windy, any problems with the comments?
I happen to agree with every single syllable that he said. He's at a spot in his career where he isn't going to have to prove anything. We're in the gravy portion of his career, and he's absolutely correct. He's been on teams where he's been the far and away dominant player, and it hasn't been enough. He carried the 2007 Cavs, for example, to the finals. It was amazing they got there, and then they got wiped out by the Spurs because they had a vastly better team. He's been on the Heat team that got there by a narrow margin and got wiped out by the Spurs. And in this series, the Lakers at a certain point, JJ Redick only had trust in 5 players, whereas the Wolves had a 6th man of the year over there in Naz Reid and all kinds of production from all up and down the lineup. So I also don't think this Lakers team is in position. I mean, I think there was a smoke and mirrors thing where they could have made a run. You know, there was a lane they could have hit. They didn't. I don't think the Lakers team is built out. And by the way, they don't just need a center. They probably need at least 3 players this offseason to have a real chance to jump up there. I agree.
I say your body language tells me that you feel otherwise. But just let me say that I agree with Wendy. What do you want this man to say? You want him to throw Luka under the bus? JJ Redick already did that with conditioning. At the end of the day, it doesn't behoove LeBron to articulate his passion or his fight. You know who he is. You know what he stands for. You know how competitive he is. You know he's willing to do anything it would take to win another championship. Just this line here, doesn't lose sleep, does not mean that he does not hold himself accountable or Luka accountable. Of course he does. But saying that publicly does nothing for him. You know how he is behind closed doors. It's the same guy that's going to take Luka and say, hey, look, we got to be in championship condition to win this. And yes, personnel does play into this. How do we make moves to get better personnel? We ran up against some dudes who were younger, who have more legs, who have more athletic ability, and we were undermanned. And also, JJ had to learn on his coaching curve as well. So all of these things are true. We know what it is.
Y'all finish?
I knew it.
Wendy, Jay, LeBron James was 1,000% correct. And so are y'all. Why didn't you just spend time again in front of the microphone and say the sky's blue? Who the hell doesn't know that he's right?
Not today.
That's why I'm looking like that. It's like, it's obvious. It's totally, totally true. Here's why I look that way and why I look at y'all with a raised eyebrow over this. While it's 1,000% true, I don't disagree with a word that he said. And it was a complete waste of time to hear him say that. What really I rail against is that the attitude at the negotiating table? At the negotiating table, when you walk in and you say, I deserve $50 million a year. I deserve a $250 to $300 million contract. When somebody else is getting paid the mid-level, the veteran minimum or whatever, of course we know a team gets it done for you. We understand that. I'm just saying that's not the mentality that you have when you go to the negotiating table and you believe you're worth 2 times, 5 times, 10 times more than some of your teammates. So if that's the reality of the situation, don't knock the fans. Don't knock basketball viewers. Don't knock somebody for having higher expectations for those who require more than others require. You deserve it, but with that comes expectations. The Lakers are home. They lost to a better team. We understand that. We understand that you needed a team to beat the Minnesota Timberwolves. We understand that the Lakers weren't built to beat Minnesota. But in the same breath, not as it pertains to LeBron because he maximizes his potential the way he takes care of himself or whatever. But we can pick several stars or several people that are getting paid like stars in the NBA, and they have no business being in those positions. We know that. And that ain't just about team. That's also about you as an individual not maximizing your potential. And Jay, you know that better than me. There are plenty of players that you can look at in the league that's getting paid a boatload of money, and they don't produce. We got to recognize that too.
All right, let's keep it cooking. Is of the show, best bets for the NBA playoffs this weekend. Stephen A., I got 3 for you. 2 tonight, 1 tomorrow. Are you ready?
Okay, I'm ready. Let's do it.
All right. Number one, we're going to go to the Thunder matchup against the Nuggets, game 3, but we're going to focus on quarter number 2. This is a second quarter bet. It's the Thunder minus 1.5 points. Very simple logic here. Nikola Jokic plays all 12 minutes of the first quarter. We've seen that in every single playoff game. He plays anywhere between 7 and 9 minutes in the second quarter, which have proven to be disastrous for the Nuggets. Least profitable second quarter team in the entire NBA this season, and in the postseason, that's carried over. A minus 27-point differential, and the only reason it looks that good is because the Clippers completely mailed it in Game 7 of that series. 8 games so far. They've lost the second quarter 6 times. Bet number 1, Thunder in the second quarter minus 1.5. Are you with me or against me?
I'm going to go with you on that. I think he stays in the game, obviously, practically the entire second quarter. I'm going to go with you on that one.
Game number 2, Cleveland and Indiana. We're going to lay the 4.5 with the Cavaliers tonight to get back into this series. Money pouring in on Cleveland today. They opened as a 1-point favorite. They're up to 4.5. It looks like they'll be healthier tonight. Looks like. We don't have any official word on that yet. Indiana has been shooting hot so far this series. 52% from the floor, 46% from deep. That drops off. The Cavs give us a better performance. They cover the 4.5 on the road.
I'm going to go against you on this one. I think that Cleveland's in trouble. And even if they win, I think it'll be a thriller. I think it's going to come down to a 2-point game. I'm not going to go with you on this 4.5. No,
all right.
It's going to be less.
So we've got one agreement, one disagreement. I'm confident we'll agree in the next one. Game 3, Madison Square Garden tomorrow night. We're going to lay the 5.5 with the Celtics over the Knicks. You understand the situation as well as anybody else. Boston shooting 25% from three-point range. That shooting's going to kick into high gear. Gotta love the Celtics here in this spot. Best road team in the NBA over the last 2 seasons. Go ahead and say agree, and then we'll bump to break.
I'm going to agree with you, but for reasons that you don't think. You know why I'm going to agree with you? Because I was wrong about the New York Knicks, all right, in Game 2. And why go against it? Hell, every time I say something, they're proving me wrong. I'm going to continue to pick against them and let them prove me wrong again. That's why I'm going to do it.
Ladies and gentlemen,
that's why I'm going to do it.
That right there is known as the old reverse mush. It is an old school tactic that has been deployed in several key situations, most notably with fans when their teams are in the Super Bowl. Job well done, sir, as ticket prices for Game 3 between the Celtics and the
New York Knicks.
Ha! Under blue sky. When I'm hosting, there are a few rules. Wait to speak until called upon by the host.
A question for Perk.
Supposed to speak when spoken to.
Talk about speak when spoken to.
I love coming on at the end of the show just to make Stephen A. mad.
No, Mina's right.
Overcast in Los Angeles. You a Knicks fan? Under blue sky, y'all. Take a look at my man Ryan Clark dancing with the Savannah Bananas.
RC's a Kappa. They love to dance.
Somebody else be dancing up in the studio.
You know that hand go.
I don't know you're a mom. I don't care. I don't care. How do you go home after this?
You went full turtleneck. We don't know if you Brick or Stephen A. right now.
First time this has ever happened in the history of First Take. I'm ready to throw Wendy off the air. To go New York, go New York, go.
Those are better days when Stephen A. could talk.
All right, let's close with a bang. Game 3 tomorrow, Knicks, Celtics, Stephen A., Madison Square Garden. Is it the best big game sports venue we've got?
Absolutely. I mean, when the Garden is rocking, it doesn't get any better. It doesn't get any better. Now, I know Sacramento with the Beam when they were relevant. Yeah. Duke, North Carolina, Cameron Indoor Stadium special. I get that. But you talk about Madison Square Garden on a night like tomorrow. If you doubt me, wait until you see tomorrow afternoon at the Garden. Jay will be there. He will confirm. You'll see.
For football, the Rose Bowl, okay? For basketball, the Garden's like nothing else. The problem is, Stephen A., there hadn't been that many big Knicks games there in the last 30 years, but it's absolutely lives up to it.
Why you got to bring that up? Why you got to bring that up? You had to go there.
I mean, I think it's safe to say, S.A., that this might be the biggest game we can remember in a very, very long time. I will be in Mark Shapiro's seats, our guy. I'm curious to see it. What should I be thinking about, S.A.? What am I going to experience?
Jay, I might advise you to maybe resell those.
No, don't resell it. They're great seats.
I can't do that.
They're great seats. They're great seats. And, I'm usually a Mark Shapiro seats, the man at WME. But here's the thing. You got to root more for the Knicks. See, Mark Shapiro, he can be shaky at times. You know what I'm saying? He'll desert you. He'll complain about leg room with his seats.
Nobody wants to hear about JWill's experience. Who's winning the game? Game 3, Knicks Celtics, 8 seconds.
Celtics, because the Knicks are going to make me liars. You're going to pick the Celtics because the Knicks are going to make me liars.